So this video is about 5 things that can destroy your marriage, and we're starting right now. Hi guys, it's Sissy again. I'm so happy to be with you once again. Today's topic is going to be very interesting, and I'm coming to you not just from a professional background, but also from an experiential background as well. So number one is a very touchy and sensitive subject, but a lot of people have gone through it. So make sure you watch the entire video. The fastest ways to destroy your marriage or your relationship is when we take the other person for granted. And this leads to a failure to communicate with respect and love at all times. You see, after we've been together for some time, we tend to forget the passion that we had or the love that we had when we started the relationship. And this can lead to us taking the other person for granted or making him or her feel unloved. It is critical to speak to your partner with love and respect at all times, as you would someone who is a stranger to you, but who you admire and respect. We have a lot of challenges in marriage. We have a lot of challenges in relationships. But one thing we need to understand is that insults and frustrations have never really helped in solving any problem. If anything, they make it escalate even more. Now, another aspect of not communicating with love and respect, which I would put under the unclean communication tab, is when we have certain habits that exist in our relationship. And this can include lying to your partner, concealing the truth from your partner, being deceptive, not being completely transparent. This can make the other person feel unloved, and the truth is, since we all feed off each other's energy, it's a very bad vibe and very bad energy to have in the subsistency of a loving relationship. So how do you communicate better that reflects love and respect on the one hand, and also to communicate in a way where you don't necessarily hurt the other person by being deceptive about some things or not telling the truth or not being transparent? We as human beings have complicated relationships. It's simple. It's just to communicate. It's just to always make sure that we put our best selves forward. Now, when you're in a marriage or in a relationship, most of us just feel that after the marriage or after the honeymoon phase, things carry on as normal. I'm sorry to bust your bubble. If you're newlyweds, no. You have to put the work in. And how do you put the work in? What are one of the ways for you to put the work in? It's to always bring your best self to the table and always be conscious of your body language, your words, your actions to your partner. So that way you're feeding him or her a positive energy, which would, like a mirror, bounce back to you. This one is a big one for me because I totally have seen the pros and the cons of reacting in a very emotionally charged state. You see, when a partner gets into the habit of reacting in an emotionally charged state, be it anger, fear, frustration, or sadness, this has a way of negatively impacting the receiving partner, and it can also hamper into destroying the level of communication in a relationship. It actually goes deeper than that. You see, we're all wired from a very early age on how we react to life's challenges or issues that life brings at us. For the most part, this emotional knee-jerk reaction that we always seem to do has started right from before we were even the age of 6. It's just the way human beings are wired. You see, for me personally, I always used to react in an emotionally charged state, and this caused my husband to start concealing things from me. It caused him to not tell me the full picture because he was scared of how I would react to it. And to say this didn't do damage to my relationship is putting it mildly. We went through a whole bunch of issues just because I refused to take responsibility for the fact that I acted or reacted in an emotionally charged state, because we tend to feel like we're the victims. We tend to feel like, He's done something wrong to me, so I have every right to react the way I'm reacting. But the truth is, we are responsible for our response. You see, whatever it might be, whether it's anger, sadness, or fear, these are all negative emotions that you're bringing to the table. Whatever it is, anger has never solved any issues or made any situation better. If anything, it promises to do is to make the situation worse. Now, I want to give you a physical drill that I have started doing, and it has helped me a lot in my reacting in an emotionally charged state. The first thing is to know yourself. To know yourself to the point where when the signs of that anger starts coming to you, what do you do? Now, when you start recognizing the signs of anger coming through to you, what you need to do is to physically stop. Whatever you're saying, whatever you're communicating, at that point, once you recognize the signs, you need to stop. So it's a stop, drop, and feel. Stop what you're doing, drop. When I say drop, I mean like let go. And just feel how the situation is impacting you as well as impacting your partner. And just take a minute and return back at a point where you feel you're calmer enough to digest whatever information or whatever is going on around you at that moment in time. This brings us down to number 3, which is putting an end to gossip in your relationship. Yes, I said it, gossip. Let's start by defining what gossip means. Gossip is any conversation that we have about a third party when the person is not present or in the absence of that person, and also has the characteristics to destroy the person's reputation. Gossip is equivalent to cancer, and we all are guilty about doing it at one point or the other, as I said earlier. I used to gossip about my partner a lot. Would have issues, and it would be basically me maybe going to my mom or my dad or my brother or my sisters and reporting him essentially to them. Now, there's nothing wrong in opening up and sharing. Of course, when you're hurt, you do need someone to talk to, but there has to be a limit. It brings us back to the relationship. Now, it's between two subsisting adults, and the truth of the matter is you should be able to solve problems with your partner, because the issue is surrounding the two of you, and so two of you need to come to a point where you can sit together and discuss about whatever the upset might be between the two of you, because moving forward, the relationship can only be engineered by the consent of the two of you. So if two of you have brought this issue about, or one person or the other, how are you going to move forward? It still needs to be ironed and addressed by the two of you. Partners who gossip about each other kill the trust. And without the foundation of trust in any relationship, there's no relationship. So when we do things that betrays that trust, the relationship just eats away. That's the sad fact. Now, sometimes this betrayal of trust is irreversible, especially when it's done over and over and over and over again. Or it's that special bond that exists between two loving partners. So outside of coming together to solve this problem on your own, to avoid this trap, it is very important for couples to agree, to physically come to an agreement, not to disclose private information about any issues they're having, and work together in humility to solve and resolve any issues they might be having. Now, this brings us down to number 2, taking yourself too seriously. I know this doesn't sound like an issue, but taking yourself too seriously, honestly, is such a downer in a relationship. Okay, you get married and you go through the wedding phase, or romantic and stuff. You go through your honeymoon, still feeding off the romance, and then life happens, or the reality of life kicks in, where you start going through a challenge here, an issue there, and all of that. Now, this can make you start seeing life from a cynical point of view, Or it can also make you start to become very serious because we're scared. We're actually scared of challenges and issues coming to us, or we are reacting from the hurt and the pain we've had to go through in life. And so we become serious. We start taking ourselves seriously. We don't even laugh anymore. We hardly even smile at our partners anymore. You know, there was a point where I was so grumpy. I was so grumpy, you know, and I'm naturally a very chirpy person. But because of things I was going through, it started taking shape in my physical being. Most of us want partners that improve the overall quality of our lives. You know, we want that fun playmate. You know, the reason why a lot of us fall in love and feel the whole emotions of love is during your courtship stage, you know, our hair was let down. We were calmer. We were happier until life happens. So, if one party is always down in the dumps, always grumpy, always frowning, always talking about issues and problems, this doesn't help with the overall vitality of the relationship. It actually doesn't. Now, it starts making the partners lose sight or lose focus on why they fell in love in the first place. So do you hold yourself as too busy or too serious to have fun? Are you living in a state of low-grade depression where you're always moody and sad? Or do you experience life as an angry victim where you're just so upset and sad at the fact that your spouse keeps doing things to you that doesn't build or edify you or even make you happy? Or perhaps you're more aware of your partner's flaws than his gifts. Having fun is all about attitude. So the question comes where, are you and your partner able to go through life and all of its challenges and still come back to a uniform place of giving and reciprocating love to one another? You have to find the ability to surpass every challenge and make your relationship not the altar where your love is sacrificed, but the altar where you're able to still come together as one and go through these issues without destroying your relationship or losing the color in your relationship. So find the silver lining in every cloud and make that resolute that no matter what the challenge is, you would still be there for one another, loving each other and supporting each other through thick and thin, as they say. Be happy and practice love in action. Now, this brings us down to number one. Remember, I told you that number one is such an interesting, controversial, and very sensitive subject. And it is about infidelity and cheating. A lot of couples have gone through it. You see, in the beginning of a relationship, there is always that fun, not just fun, the passion, the love, you know. We all start a relationship, especially for those who are genuinely in love, from a very happy place, so to speak. As the relationship progresses, it's normal to actually to have like a reduced sense of passion, if you know what I mean. You know, and now that is replaced by a more permanent sort of love, the love of companionship, the love of togetherness, the love that flows and burns deeper than that which we experience during the course of a new relationship. It means living by the golden rule of treating your partner the way you want to be treated. Now, the deeper we go into a relationship, the more we actually fall in love, the more we're used to that person, the more we feel part and parcel of that person's life and existence. Infidelity throws off, literally, it throws off everything from the foundation of the relationship to the promises that you made, to the agreements that you made. It actually literally rubbishes all of these deep commitments we have to one another. Cheating on your partner goes beyond the betrayal of trust and the breach of promises. And the truth is, cheating starts in our minds, and quite honestly, it ends there. Because the reason why a lot of people cheat is actually not achieved by the act of cheating itself. thousands of marriages have been impacted by cheating. A lot of people cite different reasons for cheating. Maybe it's they feel ignored, they feel unloved. Maybe it's the addition of new family members when you start having children. Maybe it's just the way they've communicated with each other. But there are a lot of reasons why people cheat. But the truth is, infidelity is so bad, and the pain of being cheated on is like the pain you experience when you lose someone you love. That's why it's called a broken heart. Because you feel so much pain that you start to question yourself, even though it's not about you. And for as long as there is the institution of marriage, cheating will also be there. So which brings us to the very important question: how do we avoid being cheated on, or how do we avoid cheating in a relationship? Couples who operate from a rock-solid commitment to their marriage, even when they find themselves in situations where they feel that urge to cheat, they won't. You know why? It's like a scale. You always need to weigh your scale. You always need to put your marriage on one hand and put the cheating on the other hand. And you need to look at it from the perspective of what you stand to lose. When you're always clear about what you stand to lose when you do cheat on your partner, it helps you to stay focused. It helps you to stay on the guided path. Because quite frankly, cheating, or whatever you gain from cheating, is not lasting. It's so short-lived that it is not worth, honestly, it is not worth putting and jeopardizing your creation of a beautiful and loving relationship. It doesn't justify that creation to be crumbled up like a piece of paper and just tossed away. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's helped to identify some of the signs that may bring about an erosion or a destruction of your relationship. And I hope you find ways to apply them to, again, build a happier, healthier relationship. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until I come your way again, it's a goodbye from me.